Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh. But I guess at this point now we need to move forward and start having more dialogues, start going to different universities and start having open dialogues there. So that's been our sort of next moving on point, is where the universities are where the future of our, do they think the future of our PANTH is. We need to go there and start spreading this version of Khalistan, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Which talks about Raj.
Once that like shift in attitude occurs, like that is like a lot of the initial work is creating that attitude that, you know, Sada Raj hona chahiye, that we are capable of imagining a future for our qawm. And once that shift starts coming, then you can start focusing on, like, you know, what the work is, right, and what like Sikh representation actually looks like. And that bahut vadiya gall hai.
Ichha for Raj. So now recently ਅਸੀਂ Raj ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. That's another thing you pointed out. It's amazing. We talk about Raj now. We let the youth know this is not Raj. What you guys are seeing here, it's not Raj. Raj is what our ancestors did. So until there's an Ichha for Raj, they don't want to do anything. Now the selected few sings and singing here, they have an Ichha for Raj. They are sort of, now we're pursuing it more further. So that's very essential. Have an Ichha, have an aim, a nishana, Khalistan, Khalsa Raj. They're both same thing.
I feel like there's like a lot of opportunity here because, one, the community is like relatively young and everyone's still quite interconnected. It's quite a small community, and there's less like disruption, especially from like the Indian consulate here. I know we're talking about that it's starting to develop more and it's getting more and more, you know, like compared to the UK, where, you know, a lot of our Sikh institutions have been completely co-opted by the Indian state. You know, over here I think there's a little bit more like breathing room when it comes to.
Yeah, I mean, incident happened I think last year, the year before. They stopped them at the Melbourne Gurdwara. I think you knew about that as well. That was amazing. That was a great example, because what happened, that let the other state Singhs know that if anyone comes, don't let them in. So what's happened is, so far no Indian consulates are coming in our Gurdwara. But we've kind of made it clear to everyone that if they're going to come, we don't want them to.
So how do you see like United Sikh Youth Federation developing, and like what is it that you need, and what can we like? What can we do to help?
You guys have done so much already. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have even started this group off. I think the biggest important is education. If they don't know, if they don't have the knowledge, we can't move forward. So, step one, set more classes. We've done some examples and they've turned out amazing. But now we're going to formally set out workshops, and hopefully you're going to teach us that as well. But yeah, so we're setting up workshops where we're going to bring the youth, invite them, go over the concept of Khalistan, go over what the Indian constitution. The thing is, our youth today, they don't even know what they are in front of the Indian government. So to them, they look fine. You know how surprising they get when I have to tell them, you guys are Kesadhari Hindu in the constitution. They're like, no, we're not. Then I have to pull out the article. So there are a lot of problems, like they don't even know how they look in front of the government. So when we have to start slowly showing them, yo, if you have dadis, if you have turbans, you look like a terrorist in front of them. It's little steps at a time. Workshops, seminars, go move on from there, university classes.
What about, like, you know, we were talking about the experiences of racism growing up in, like, you know, Australia, and like what that experience has been like for our community, and, you know, the similarities. What other challenges do you see, like, for the younger generation, especially, like, you know, the kids that are going through the schooling system, and, you know, the kind of thing that you needed when you were growing up, right? We were talking about that stuff.
So they want to fit in with the society today. They think that coming out in the Western countries, this is success. So today brothers are cutting their case. I did that because I went through that journey. We want to first belong in a group of people that don't look like us. We cut our hair, we start doing things like them. We start drinking, start off with the little stuff, start doing drugs. One thing leads to another, you've completely forgotten your virasat now. So to fit in with today's society, we start doing everything against Sikhi. Now, there's another problem, is that today the youth here do not know the difference between Khalsa culture and Punjabi culture. Punjabi culture, like, I have friends that come up to me, bro, you're a Punjabi, you must drink a lot. And now that, to me, that's like, who changed this mindset? This wasn't us before. So our youth today, they don't know the difference between Khalsa and Punjabi. And for them, it's only focused on the Punjabi culture. Religion has become, like, Sikh has become away, and it's just Punjabi. So youth today, they're growing up, there's a lot of competition. Who looks the most dangerous, who's got the craziest photos, who has the heaviest group of boys. and they've completely forgotten what else we need to do. Punjabi culture has infiltrated here, not amongst the Singhs, amongst our sisters as well. They want to compete with each other. It's like, there's some other thing I met yesterday, he was looking at photos, he's like, yo, why are they trying to become Kardashians? And which is becoming a problem. They just all want to compete. There's 1% of celebrities and they all want to aim like that. They want to become like them.
So like you talking about like your challenges growing up, you went away from Sikhi and like
Hanji.
What you felt like took you away from Sikhi and what brought
Sangat.
you back?
I left Sangat. I grew up with Najatahi, and when I started experiencing other pleasures of life, I started seeing others, started going out, clubbing, partying, I felt like I was being two-faced. To my community, I'm this dharmic person and I go change. So what happened, I started pushing myself away from the Sangat. When I left, I started hanging out with the Buri Sangat, the wrong people, the wrong crowd. One thing led to another, I became heavily into drugs. That took a lot of time away from me. That made me forget who I was, and I went on a journey downhill. What happens is, as I kept going down, when I got to right at the end, everything went black. I then started seeing the importance of Sikhi. Growing up here, we didn't get to earn Sikhi. Sikhi muft miliya. So we take it for granted. I had to go through hell. I lost everything. My parents, they were like, yo, sorry, what are you becoming? We bring you to this country for your education, and this is what you become. I went on complete wrong Sangat. I started hanging out with the wrong people, and my life was completely messed up. Then we had a Khanpat at our house, roughly 2 years ago. We had Maharaj Sade Kare darshan dite. After that day, I don't know, Maharaj ne khed vartati, I never cut my hair. I went a few times to the barber, my local barber, and he just kept saying, nah, come back later, I'm busy. I understood, that's Maharaj's hukum to grow your hairs. That's my spiritual journey. That was what made me go back. There's another thing that sort of really connected me towards the Sikhi, which was started researching on our shaheeds. See, spiritual Jeevan, that's one thing, but when I started studying the lives of the shaheeds, what they went through, what Sikhi was to them, how they earned Sikhi, it made me realize I'm not doing anything right. So now with Maharaj sort of pulled me towards the right path, I researched more and more, and then it showed me what Sikhi is, not what we're doing living here. We're just trying to fit in with the society here. And I started noticing the pattern amongst all the youth. It's just become some crazy gangster Punjabis, become part of them and completely forget the virasat.
Yeah, it's like we look for that sense of belonging, right?
Hanji.
It's difficult to find that connection among Sikhi because the Gursikh lifestyle demands more of you. It's a very disciplined lifestyle, okhaya, right? But ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ, there's barakat, there's immense sense of fulfillment that you won't get from anywhere else. It's that clash, right? That clash of culture, that clash of trying to find somewhere to belong. And find a sense of confidence and pride, right? In within these societies, so that we can ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁੱਖ ਦਾ ਸਾਹ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, we feel like we're part of something. But for me as well, the lifestyles of the shaheeds and their jeevans and what they went through, and their development, and how they were willing to sacrifice everything for the future of a panth, for an idea of Raj. To me, it's an incredibly powerful and beautiful thing, and I feel the activism that I do, and the seva that Maharaj lende with National Sikh Youth Federation, it is to create space again for their voices to be heard, and it's to create space for the Qurbani and the Jeevan of our shaheeds, and it's because of them that we're alive. It's not because of the individuals, and by alive I mean ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਰੂਹ ਆ our atma, our collective consciousness as a people, it survives because of the qurbani, the sacrifices of our shaheeds. And those individuals that have worked within state structures, from day one, we've had those individuals that have tried to change the direction. From the time of Ram Rai, they've always tried to make Sikhi less threatening and make it appear less challenging to those that temporarily hold power. and it's because of the defiance of our shaheeds and their like attitude that we survived, that we have our spirit survives as a people. And I think that's incredibly important to like, you know, make sure that they're always present in our conversations, they're always present in our organizing. Like, you know, there's a karja on our heads, you know, like as a qawm, we exist because of their sacrifices. So remembering them is one thing, honoring them is one thing. That's like, for me, is like the starting point. But the next thing is, how do we work towards their dreams of azadi? You know, from our first shaheeds, you know, all the way up until this moment today, from Guru Sahib till today, that shahidi has always been because we're a sovereign people. We don't bow in front of fear or threat, and we're a sovereign azad people, and we're always going to stay that way, right? And like that for me is like a beautiful thing, and keeping that attitude alive is incredibly important.
You're right, we're always going to have problems a bit. Why is that? Because since the Mughals Delhi Takht, they've always been against us. We had the Mughals. Why? Because, like you said, we never bow to anyone. We have our Takht, Akal Takht Sahib. That's where we bow down to. But we cannot bow down to any other Takht. Now, whether it's the Mughals, whether it was the British, or whether today it's the Hindutva government, it's very essential to point out it is the Hindutva government. It is not the government that used to be. But they're always going to clash with Sikhs, because we are going to speak for the rights of the oppressed. We are going to speak for human rights. We are going to speak for Raj. And those countries, those people, those Takhts did not want us to have Raj. And today is the same problem. They don't want Sikhs to even dream about Raj. They don't want us to have conversations of Raj, because then they tremble. They know their ground's going to shake.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think, you know, that's something that many powers have tried to make us forget, that as Raj Pagde Varasya, that we're a sovereign people, and it's something that no taqat in this world can erase from the consciousness of a Sikh. Even if as a people we decide not to speak about those issues, or those that claim to represent the Panth don't speak about those issues, that desire can never be erased from the psyche of a Sikh. Ota Amrit de vichi Maharaj ne kala vartai hui hai, like, you know, there's an undeniable aspect of Sikh sovereignty. You know, our Nishan Sahib still, you know, flies.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, it's a huge thing, you know. And like, you know, Khalistan, if we put that aside for 1 second, you know, there's Sikhs that may or may not agree with Khalistan, and you know, and like we talked about that, you know, that conflict exists because of Indian state violence. How, you know, our Reni Beni has been disrupted by Indian state violence. But one thing that all Sikhs agree on is that we're a sovereign people. You know, and that's something that's been true from, you know, the time of Guru Nanak Sahib, and will remain true until there is a universe.
That's pretty much why he aimed to start Kartarpur off as well.
Yeah.
The whole purpose was to create an environment where people can live free of no matter what their belief is.
Okay.
Dilo Bob, it's been so, I don't think you realize how many people you have connected to without even, since so long we've just been following your stuff here, and we're just thinking, what can we do like them here? Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh.